Welcome back to the channel, y'all. So today we actually have Mike Myers, right? And this is There Will Always Be a Canada. Mike Myers, Canadian PM, make dig at Trump's Canada talk. Now, obviously, there's been since pretty much 2025 started. There's been a back and forth as far as Canada becoming the 51st state to the U.S. and it's been so much backlash. It's been obviously the trade war. It's been just so much bickering and so much has changed, right? Um, Even within it, as far as Canada having new leadership, everything's been changing around. So we're gonna hop into this. With that being said, we're smoking all my dragons, divine righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking, and yeah, original link in the description. Let's see what they got to say.
Go, go, go. Mr. Prime Minister, Mike Myers, what are you doing here? I just thought I'd come up and check on things.
You live in the States,
Yeah, but I'll always be Canadian.
but you live in the States.
Yeah, so?
Do you remember Mr. Dressup?
The children's show on CBC?
What were the names of Mr. Dressup's two puppet friends?
Casey and Finnegan?
Bud the
Spud?
Howie,
Meeker?
Capital Saskatchewan.
Regina?
Tragically,
Pip?
you're a defenseman defending a 2-on-1. What do?
Take away the pass, obviously.
What are the two seasons in Toronto?
Winter and construction?
Wow, you really are Canadian.
Yeah.
So from those questions and answers that I have no idea about, yeah, you could tell he ain't leave his Canadian roots at all. He definitely is Canadian. Which there's so many people that are Canadian that are like famous that I always thought was like American. Yeah, but hey, we finding out every day about that Canadian pride.
But let me ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
That was a slick commercial. I ain't gonna lie. How he had the jersey in Canada and never and 51. That was slick.
That's Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and comedian Mike Meyer taking a subtle jab at President Trump's comments about making Canada the 51st state. Carney's now calling for a general election to be held on April the 28th. Claire McCaskill, I've seen a lot of politicians. I must say, he kind of snuck up on me. We of course all know Chrystia Freeland, who along with Trudeau, helped run that government. But he popped up in a couple of feeds this weekend, and at one point I thought I was listening to a sort of a Scott Galloway consultant. He was brilliant. And I said, "Who is this guy?" And I said, "Oh wait, he's Canada's prime minister." He certainly seems to have risen to the moment, and I'm saying this. People need to look at this guy. He is a great political talent, and he just says the other guy. He's just going around talking about his opponent in the Conservative Party. He's just kind of blabbering, and he'll give you like bumper sticker comments. He has no idea how the economy works and how we need to fight back on tariffs.
I honestly feel like with Trump's new leadership, the new prime minister, and the way that he's coming, he's coming fierce. I feel like that definitely feeds the Trump administration, and it makes them go, yeah, because they they want the smoke. They want the smoke. So it's like the Trump administration, they be on a revenge tour about a lot of things from the past, and so it's like anybody stepping up to them, they want to make examples. So this is why this is so spicy right now too, because it's everybody going head up. All the gloves are being taken off, and everybody's just pretty much going head up, and everybody got something to prove. But one thing I will say is I have learned about that Canadian pride a lot since 2025. I mean, Canadians are, you're so used to them being more on the silent, quiet side. You don't really hear too much about them. Um, to see them really stand up and really rep that Canada and say, listen, we Canada, and just see how hard they go. Um, it definitely introduced me to who Canadians really are.
He's a very talented guy.
Yeah, listen, I think one of the things that really matters here is remembering why the Liberal Party in Canada is succeeding right now. And it's a very simple one word answer: Trump. Trump has, in fact, allowed that party to come back from, I think it was a 20-point deficit, Joe, at
Yeah.
one point for this election. Trudeau was really struggling with his approval rating, even after he stepped down. The more progressive alternative to the Conservative Party in Canada was still struggling. Then Trump came along, and let's remember what Trump is threatening to do. Trump is threatening to do what Russia did to Ukraine, because Canada clearly doesn't want to be a 51st state. So the only way Canada becomes a 51st state is if we go to war with them, which America will not.
Hold on. Let's stop that right there. That would be insane. Is that likely? I think so. I think so. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Because first off, okay, that would be insane, because I remember when the whole Russia Ukraine, when all that popped off, right? Obviously, to Americans, for the most part, it was kind of just like a meme at first, like, oh, Trump. I mean, no, not Trump. Putin is, it was just all these like gangster funny memes. It wasn't taken too serious until people started. It took a little bit for people to really, most people, millennials, I say, a lot of them, to really like, oh snap, this Ukraine Russia war is really the real, it's really going off. Um, I'm saying that to say that could happen in America too, where we could hear it, it gets real, and people might not take it too serious at first, but they'll catch on. Like, hold on, we really, it's really on with Canada. So I do think that's a possibility. I don't want to sleep on that and get surprised, especially with the way that Trump is laying that belt. He laying that belt. He's from the looks of it. It seems like he really respects Putin, and he wants to be that staple, that icon, that person that did so much historic moves to last, to really go down in them history books. And he knows he doesn't have too much time to do that. So I just see him pulling all the strings that aren't supposed to be pulled. So, whew, sticky, sticky.
It clearly doesn't want to be a 51st state. So the only way Canada becomes a 51st state is if we go to war with them, which America will not stand for. America doesn't want us fighting Canada. So he is creating.
Let me put that out there too. I definitely, I don't want to fight Canada at all. I don't want to see that. I got to make that clear. I don't want to see no beef between the U.S. and Canada. I've never been to Canada. I got a lot of friends from Canada, and I've heard Canada is one of the most beautiful places in the world. That I've heard from about 2, 3 different people from America. So, um, yeah, I don't, even just as far as the people, my friends that are from Canada, born and raised, uh, very, very informative and respectful, and just very friendly people who actually like care to talk, and and care to see how you're doing. So, and I've never heard people say, "Oh, that Canadian," like, I've never. Uh, it's not worth having beef with Canada. I get it, the tariff thing. Hopefully, they work out the tariff thing, and everybody comes to equal terms with that, to where it's better on both parties. But hopefully, it doesn't turn to a thing where it's just bullying and they have no choice, and we have to. Yeah, I don't want that. No.
not just in Canada, but across the globe, such an anti Trump sentiment among so many people that the parties that more reflect the Democratic Party values across the globe are enjoying a big bump because of Trump. And, maybe it's the only thing he's done right since he took office, and that is he's enabled some of these parties that were struggling to once again raise the flag, and in Canada with elbows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause he definitely igniting that fire with people.
With his
He's igniting that fire, and man, it's just crazy times. It's like it's slow cooking at this point. I feel like things are kind of slow cooking. You know, it started off fast. It's still fast, still a lot, boom, 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 boom. But um, damn, we got some time. I mean, it's only March of 2025. You know, he just really went into office. What was it? January 20th, I want to say. He just went into office, so it's only been 2 months, guys. 2 3 months. When you think about 2 months, really, two. That's crazy. So, whoa, that is really crazy when you think about it. It has not been that long, and look how much has changed. Uh, as far as Canada goes, I mean, like I said, I really see that going. That could go either way. It just all depends on if Trump is really serious about that 51st state. If you know if he we're gonna find out. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna find out how serious he is uh, about making Canada the 51st, and in Canada, it's just they're showing that they're not no pushover, and there's a lot of Canadians that just ain't with it. Now, I have heard Canadians on TikTok, like I have heard some that actually want that to happen. So I think overall we'd be surprised by a lot of things. That's all I'm gonna say. And I think my prediction is um, we're gonna be surprised very soon. That's my prediction. But with that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Original link in the description. And I'll be back with more soon. Much love.